Good morning. Monday, food prep day, but first breakfast.
Looks like a good brown day today.
It does, doesn't it? I already heard her. It's not a lot. It's prep time. I prep pretty much every single week. If I don't, I really regret it. So lately in my videos, I've been doing a pretty big meal prep at the beginning of the week and then basically doing very, very little cooking throughout the week. I am gonna try to do something a little bit different this week, a smaller food prep today, and then a little bit more cooking tomorrow and the next day. But by Thursday, I'm done. We're just reheating Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So very little time spent in the kitchen then. We'll see how it goes. I feel like this is gonna be better though. So let's get started with some beans. We make beans pretty much every single week. They're cheap, they're easy, they're super good for you. Lola's watching Seinfeld, so you'll hear her laughing probably. Beans are super good for you, so we eat them almost every week, all day, every day. It's just a good idea. Lola, because she is 84, she does need food to be a bit softer, so it's easier for her to chew. Not crazy mushy baby food, but pretty soft. And then she also is on a doctor recommended lower sodium diet, about 1500 milligrams, which if you're not new around here, you already know. So I do need to be mindful of the salt and everything that I'm prepping. As far as the rest of the family goes, I just finish off our meals with more texture, more sodium. I make sure I can alter things, and I'll talk about that throughout the week. This week, we're going with black beans. When it comes to beans, I buy them dried because they're cheaper and I feel like they taste better, better texture. I soak them overnight, or at least 8 hours, and then the next day, I drain them, rinse them, add some flavor, put them in the pressure cooker, and we're good. And then I'll flavor them afterwards as well. Lots of flavor because we need less sodium, so I'm trying to make up for it. Time to cook. While the beans cook, I'm gonna multitask and I'm gonna make a soup. I make at least one soup every single week. It's cheap, it's easy, very easy to reheat. Plus, soup is the perfect candidate when you need to feed an elder parent soft and lower sodium food. And then it can be very easily adjusted for the rest of the family, so everyone's happy. This week, I'm taking the minestrone inspired route and I'm making a veggie soup.
Just like the beans, we're going to begin by sauteing some aromatics and some olive oil. This is just a great way to build flavor. First onion and then carrots and celery. I allow that trio to cook for about 5 minutes and then I add some garlic and tomato paste. Allow that to cook for another minute. To be mindful of sodium, I grab the no salt added tomatoes. There's still a little sodium in it, but super low. I add some rosemary and thyme that's tied in twine and bay leaves. Now for veggies. This type of soup is very versatile. Today I went with fennel, cauliflower, and broccoli. And I am adding a little bit of sea salt to build flavor, but not too much. A trick to build flavor in a veggie soup like this is adding a Parmesan rind. I do not have that, so I'm just going to go with 2 tablespoons of Parm. This is a nice way to build flavor without adding a crazy amount of sodium. Bring to a boil and down to a simmer for about 20 minutes.
Beans are cooking, soup's cooking, so let's make some stuffed shells. I don't always make a completely prepared meal, but when I do, I make sure I make at least 2 nights worth. That way I can just freeze it, pull it out later this week or next week. Easy meal, done. Work smarter, not harder. So we're gonna make stuffed shells, but I have some goals. Of course, softer for Lola, plus lower in sodium. And then I also wanna make them nice and nutrient dense, so they're just like a full and complete meal. I don't have to serve anything with them if I don't want to. So this is what I'm gonna do. We're still gonna use ricotta, but I'm also gonna use cottage cheese. I did find a no salt added cottage cheese, which I've been using, which has been a win. And cottage cheese just has a lot of protein in it. So it's a good addition. I'm also gonna include lots of vegetables in it, and I'm gonna do this by air frying them, chopping them up small, and then including them in the stuffing, which will add nutrients and more flavor actually, since we have to go lower in salt. And then speaking of salt, I'm gonna go lighter on the cheese to not go too high in sodium. And then if we wanna just add it at the end, we can. And I'm also gonna include some nutritional yeast, which does add a nice cheesy flavor, but it's much lower in salt. So that's a little trick that I use. As far as sauce goes, I'm not gonna be a hero about it today. I'm not making my own sauce. We really love certain types of jarred sauce, but our favorite does have a lot of sodium in it. So the way that I solve for this is I buy a can of no salt added sauce, and then I just go halvesies on it. Half regular sauce, half super low sodium sauce, and it still has a lot of flavor in it, and then more Lola friendly.
To add a bit more flavor, texture, and protein, we're adding a vegan beef to it. You can of course swap out for regular beef, ground chicken, or just not use any meat at all. But even though we eat meat, we are just huge fans of the stuff. I only add about 1/3 of the block because I'm going to use the rest for tacos later this week. And it's also going to go in the air fryer. After I let the soup cook down for about 20 minutes, I add pasta and chickpeas and let it cook for about 10 more minutes. I like to buy whole wheat pasta or pasta with added protein. And the chickpeas were just canned chickpeas that I drained and rinsed. I remove the herbs and the bay leaf, and then the soup is ready. When I serve it, I drizzle it with oil, add Parmesan, and a little bit of extra salt.
While I'm going through all those air fried veggies, I'm gonna be smart with my time and I'm gonna make quinoa.
Quinoa is an excellent source of protein, amongst other things, so we eat a lot of it around here. You always want to rinse your quinoa before using it. To build a little bit more flavor, I always toast my quinoa first if I have the time to do it. Just some olive oil and over medium heat for a couple of minutes. Then add your water, bring to a boil, and then down to a simmer. Cover and allow to cook. You want to catch your quinoa right when the water runs out because you don't want it to overcook or burn. When I reach this stage, I turn off the heat, fluff it up, put the lid back on, and allow it to steam for about 10 minutes. And then you have perfectly cooked quinoa.
After the beans are done cooking, I always allow them to sit for about 10 minutes to naturally release pressure, and then I just go over and release it, open them up so they don't overcook. And then eventually I'll season them.
Once the beans have sat for 10 minutes, I open up the lid, and then I remove my bundle of herbs. And the bay leaf. I personally like to remove most of the liquid. That way I have it stored in separate mason jars. I even freeze part of it. This way I can easily just make a soup out of it if I want to. And then when I season the beans, I feel like it's not getting diluted by all the liquid. I finish these babies off with some vinegar and some lime. These are pretty low in sodium, so feel free to add extra salt if needed, or you could use a salt alternative.
Prep's done. Let's label these babies, that way my partner knows what I made and then I don't forget either, especially because I do freeze part of it and then I know it's in there. I always freeze part of what I made, that way it's still good at the end of the week, or if we're just over the flavors and don't want to eat that anymore, I'll save it for the following week or weeks away. And my future self will thank me. Done. Gia and her mom actually went out to the gym and then out to lunch, so I still have motivation and an empty house. So I'm going to do one more thing today, and I'm going to make some dessert. I'm going to make chia pudding. I make a lot of chia pudding because it's soft and it's just a really easy way to get more healthy fats in Lola's diet. Plus, I also put cashews in there because nuts are great for you and they're too hard for Lola to chew. So I puree them, put them in sauces, soups, and desserts. And that's gonna be it for prep today. My work here is done. As far as dinner goes, super simple, stuffed shells soup, just popping in the oven and reheating. This is why taking the time to prep is so beautiful.
What is it? Thank you.
No, I cook. Can't help myself. Well, and because she needs lower soda. Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's a school day, which means Lola's gonna get her casserole as usual, and then the rest of the family, I have about 20 minutes to make their breakfast. Today, I'm gonna use the quinoa we prepped from yesterday, leftover tofu from the weekend. I'm gonna throw in some tempeh bacon to make it really exciting. Already pre-seasoned, super easy. And then I'm gonna throw in some spinach for some healthy greens. I'm not gonna go over Lola's again, you already know. Lunch is approaching again. Our life is kind of Groundhog's Day meets COVID, I guess. We basically are stuck at home the majority of the time because Lola has dementia. So we do get her out sometimes, but mostly homebound and she can't be left alone. So unless if we have a family member, a caregiver, we're here. And then routine is very important to smoothly move her through the day. So a lot of just work, momming, caregiving, cooking, repeat, repeat, repeat. I feel like every time I look up, it's mealtime again. I'm sure some caregivers and parents can relate to this. So anyways, it's about to be lunchtime. Lunchtime is gonna be super easy, super easy. We're gonna reheat soup. But I do have some extra time right now, so I'm gonna take the opportunity to prep for dinner. That way my life is easy tonight. Tonight we're gonna have some air fryer salmon. We do this a lot. Salmon's great for your brain, supposedly, so they say. So I try to eat that at least once a week. It is kind of pricey, so once, maybe twice a week if possible. We typically get the frozen family pack too to help cut down on cost. Just a little trick. And I often make it in the air fryer because it is just very easy to do. Marinate it. I need to be mindful of the sodium levels, so we'll do that. And then later, it's just going in that baby. I'm gonna serve it with quinoa and beans that we made for the week. That's why we prep. And then I'm gonna have it with broccoli. I'm gonna boil some broccoli as I'm prepping. That's my trick when I'm air frying vegetables. That way it's already partially cooked for Lola, so then when I put the broccoli in the air fryer for the rest of the family as well, ours can get crispy and hers can get air fried and flavorful, but it's gonna be nice and soft and not all browned and crispy on the edges, which does not work for her. So that's my trick. And then we have fresh mango, so I'm gonna make a little mango salad. That's gonna be more Thai inspired, so we're doing a little bit of a mashup here, but it's all gonna taste good together. And then if I still have motivation, I am gonna pickle onions because I ran out and I love them and it's gonna taste good on that. It sounds like a little bit of a checklist, but everything takes very minimal effort and time. And then plus I'm gonna make extra mango salad, extra pickled onions, so then I have it for future meals.
Douce nuit, emporte-moi là où les rêves sont. Tu m'emportes loin d'ici. Si étoiles brillaient tout bas dans ce ciel là-bas, illuminait mes rêves d'autrefois. C'est un doux souvenir, ces moments de plaisir cachés dans le temps. Vent doucement nous emmène vers ce doux pays lointain. Douce nuit douce, douce nuit, emporte-moi là où les rêves sont au pays enchanté. Pisani si voulait monte à sa fille et m'emporte loin. N'ai besoin de misère, bientôt passé nous sommes. Étoiles brillaient tout bas dans ce ciel là-bas, illuminaient mes rêves d'autrefois. C'est un lire ces moments de plaisir près de le temps. Nos vents doucement nous emmènent vers ce doux pays lointain. Douce nuit douce.
You should just have your butt crack sticking out just a little bit. It'd be fun. Like, I spy. You should sing to them.
All right, yeah, there. Some kind of TV show. Sometimes guys do that.
As planned, this dinner is going to be very simple to throw together. We have the boiled broccoli for Lola, raw broccoli for the rest of the family, the mango salad, beans, quinoa, marinated salmon. I'm going to use this bean broth to make Lola's more liquidy, which makes it easier for her to chew, and then our pickled onions and avocado. Another bonus when you're just reheating everything is that you get to clean up. That way the kitchen is clean by the time you're serving dinner. Because Lola has dementia, she really likes to tap her bowl and gather all of her food, which drove the rest of us crazy. And so they do sell these coated spoons, which helped a lot. Just a little tip if you're in the same position.
Wednesday morning, very sleep deprived. We have a baby monitor in our room for Lola. That way if she gets into trouble in the middle of the night, we can hear her. But the problem is I have mom ears and she talks in her sleep a lot. So if she just says a peep, I hear it. But last night she was just going on and on and on all night long. So here we are. But somehow I'm motivated because I did think of a fun way to use those beans this morning that I made. So I'm gonna make that happen and I'm excited. And Lola can eat it too. No casserole this morning. It's about to be lunchtime, so I'm gonna make one more dish for this week, and then the rest of the week I'm not really cooking. It's just gonna be a reheating and combining game, so 5 minutes spent in the kitchen at each meal basically. But for lunch we're going for it. Lola is Filipino, so I do try to cook some Filipino dishes throughout the week, every single week. They are traditionally pretty high in sodium, so I really have to lower that. Lots of soy sauce and a lot of dishes. Because of this, I like to build flavor in other ways and still bring a lot of that umami to the table. So I'll show you how I do that. Today, we're gonna make the ultimate comfort dish, in my opinion. I love it. It's perfect for winter days. It's Arroz Caldo.
Oh.
How do you say that again?
Arroz Caldo.
Which is basically a rice and chicken porridge. It's cheap, it's easy, it's absolutely delicious. It's everything you want when you're sick or on a cold day. And it's actually very simple to make. I'm gonna be a little bit extra about it because that's what I do. Plus, because Lola needs low sodium, I do like to build flavors in other ways, and I'm just a food brat. So you could keep this simple, not add the extra toppings, it would still be great. But if you wanna be extra like me, I'm gonna show you how to do that.
This is great. You see it again?
Yeah, the flowers that are coming out. Yeah, Johnny Mathis,
Yeah.
looking good. I'm gonna give you headphones because I'm recording. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And how's the volume?
Yeah, thank you.
Alexa, set an alarm for